Welcome to the Dead Pixel Society podcast, the photo imaging industry's leading news source. Here's your host, Gary Peugeot. The Dead Pixel Society podcast is brought to you by Media Clip, Advertech Printing, and Independent Photo Imagers.
Hello again, and welcome to the Dead Pixel Society podcast. I'm your host, Gary Peugeot, and today we're joined by Vitaly Glebichkin, a board member of the Retouch4Me and 3D LUT creator. Boy, that's a mouthful there on the name of the company. Hi, Vitaly, how are you today?
Hi, Gary. I'm fine. Thank you for having me.
So you're coming to us from Russia today. But tell me about you yourself personally, how you got started in the business, because you were actually a wedding photographer when you started out before you got into technology.
Yes. So I started from photography. So I really like to shoot everything, and so I start with like a family photography and so on, and then I go to the wedding photography.
Mm-hmm. And what's the market like in your market for wedding photography? Because I've seen a lot of different changes over the styles over the world, where they sometimes in some countries it's big formal events with large families and several days of parties, and then on down to people getting married in a field and it's over in 20 minutes. So it kind of varies a lot by region. What's it like in your country?
So in Russia, wedding market is really busy. So there are a lot of, it is really competitive. So you need to be a really high quality photographer to get the clients. And a lot of people would like to get like great photos. So the clients, so they really know what they need to get. And they have a taste. And so you need to be a really great photographer to work at this industry.
So when you say by the taste, do you mean like a photographer has a style and they market that, or they have to try and interpret the style of the couple?
I think it's the most of the style of so how can you like see the world?
Right. Yeah. So it's more of the personal style of the photographer.
Yeah. Sometimes more of the personal style. And actually, if you see like the whole wedding photography from 2000 to 2024, like now, so you can see that the pictures are changing.
Yeah.
And sometimes there are some hard edit of photographs were famous a lot of people, but now, for example, people are trying to shoot like with natural lights and so on.
Okay, so it's more going towards a natural look, that sort of thing.
Yes, that's right.
Okay,
so
cool.
this is why we are starting to develop our software.
Well, that's kind of what I want to talk about. So you started with. So where did you start in the software business? Why did you want to do that? Is it because you needed tools that you couldn't find anywhere else, or you thought you could do it better, or what was your initiative for that?
So actually, we started it because our founder, Oleg Sharonov, also a photographer. And so I also a photographer, and we started it because on the market, there were no tools for such editing. But we both know how to do what we need.
Right. Yeah.
But you don't have, but you cannot find on the market such tools before. So the only reason is you have to create it by yourself.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So what were the looks you were trying to achieve that you couldn't find through existing tools?
So we are trying to achieve the look of the picture with natural skin texture.
Right. Okay.
Because sometimes for some apps, it is really easy to do like retouching with the fake skin texture, with replacing the skin texture on the face. And our goal is to make the software that can retouch images like professional retouchers do. So actually, it retouches, not replace the skin texture and so on.
Hence the name of the company. It's not Replace4Me, it's Retouch4Me.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So you started with, lookup tables, right? So
yes, it was like the first project.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about that, if you would, like kind of because you're really talking about something that kind of plugs into something else, right? It's not a standalone product.
Yes. So even now, not so many people know about the LUTs. So LUTs comes from the lookup table. So it's like the table where you can change the color. So for example, if you imagine multiplication table, so you have the two columns of numbers,
right?
And you multiply one by another, and you, for example, in school, need to learn this table. If you need to multiply something in mind, you don't need to multiply, actually. You just take the memory from your brain.
Right.
You just take the result. So the lookup table allows you to get the desired color from the color you have.
Right.
So for every color.
Right. Sort of like the old multiplication table list, right? You don't have to rememorize 5 times 3 anymore. You just know that's the result.
Yes. So the thing is about LUTs is that LUTs are universal color presets.
Okay.
And LUTs can be applied to photo, video, even video gaming, for example, and for streaming, for color calibration of monitor. So we're using 3D LUTs. So it's really universal color presets. And we developed the software that can create LUTs, and that has a lot of tools that you cannot find anywhere to work with color. For example, a color grid, where you can just on the grid, so the color tied to the grid, and you can just move the grid and change the color of your image.
So when was that product introduced? When was that started?
When I think maybe 9 years or 10 ago.
Okay, so you were,
like
yeah, because I know there's a lot of folks kind of doing the LUTs thing, but it sounds like you were pretty early on in that sort of field.
Yeah.
So were you primarily in Europe, or did you start there, or how did you get the word out on that product?
So actually, we just made some posts on Facebook, and actually we don't have a website, and we didn't have anything, and people just start writing to us and asking to buy the product.
Cool. So then, but then from there, you've actually have something that actually has a website and has more of a service involved. So
yes,
so how did that how did you make that jump to the Retouch4Me environment? Because it's probably using a lot of the same underlying beliefs and philosophy of how to retouch without using lookup tables, right?
I think the main reason to switch up to retouching is technology, because before that, maybe like 5 years ago or something, there are not a lot of AI tools or apps in the internet. So to make AI work, you need to get like pretty fast machine to train neural networks. As soon as we get fast graphical cards, we can start training our neural networks and start to get the software, start to develop it.
Now with a lot of this training that people are doing, they're using outside databases, they're using pools. I mean, were you using your own information that you had developed over the years from the lookup table business? Is that sort of what you used, or did you use a different approach?
Yes. So the main reason I think that we get the results that we get is that they're using our own banks.
Okay.
So you cannot find in the internet so the exact banks that you need to train. Even if you try to, for example, train neural network to pick up like clothes or skin, and you get the bank with photos and you start to, I don't know, checking each image,
Right.
and you will find a lot of mistakes.
Right.
So, and each mistake will be started by neural network,
Right.
and
It'll just
it
build
will,
on itself.
yeah, build it by itself. Yes.
Yeah.
So we have to prepare our own photo banks.
Okay.
And it was really hard to do because even with high-end retouchers, so they had to retouch really precisely each image. So it takes a lot of time.
Yeah. Well, I can imagine. I mean, because I've spoken to other companies that have, kind of been in the retouching side of it, like Skylab and whatnot, and they've used their own data to train it, and they said it's much better than just going out and finding, pools of images and then stick a neural net on that. And like you said, it's not a professional
Yes.
experience on that. You're just basically just throwing a bunch of data, and now we're going to hope it learns something.
Yes. So if you need to develop like AI, for example, photo app for mobile phone,
Right.
so you can use such banks. But if you're trying to get professional results with high resolution images, you have to prepare your own banks, and you have to check them and check the mistakes that neural networks do.
So when did you actually officially launch Retouch4Me? I mean, I've been aware of it for about a year or so, but you're in 100 some countries now, so you've been around a little while.
Yeah, so the first plugin we launched, I think, 2019.
Okay.
So like 5 years ago.
And then of course COVID happened, so that
yeah,
slows
so now,
things down a little bit.
Yeah, so COVID and so on. So now we have 13 plugins for photo editing, which can run as standalone apps. And we just released 2 video plugins. And so now we have 3 video plugins.
Explain to me a little bit how this works, right? I mean, you have plugins for Photoshop, it sounds like. But it's not a standalone, but you do have a standalone offering, right? Don't you, in terms of you can upload images into the cloud and have it do it for you? Is that also sort of like on those individual touches, like fabric, eye vessels, eye brilliance, and those are those, can you do those individually, or is there a blanket cloud service for that?
So for now we have 2 options.
Okay.
So you can buy plugins one by one,
right,
and use it until we support them. So all updates are free for the plugins. Or you can buy subscription and use all plugins at once in the cloud. So for example, if you have slow computer and you have not so many images for retouching, or you don't want to buy the whole set of the plugins, you can just buy a subscription. And actually, every new customer gets 20 retouches for free. So it's a great opportunity to try our plugins
Sure.
on the computer. Yes.
It seems to me like there's a growth in those kind of services where people are just letting the cloud do the work, as opposed to, even if you do have the latest Mac or a high-end Windows machine where you've got the NVIDIA graphics card and you've got all that stuff. It seems to me like people are getting much more comfortable with, hey, just let the cloud do the work.
Yeah, but some customers, for example, we have customers that photographers for like a fashion, some famous people and so on. So the privacy is the key, and those people cannot send the images to the cloud because it's not safe. So they actually use the computers for the edit that don't have the computers that don't have connection to the internet.
Interesting. I hadn't really thought about that. The sort of the celebrity,
Yeah,
fashion
that's
shoot kind of.
actually there are a lot of photographers that prefer and keep all the data on their computers, not on
Well,
the
yeah,
cloud.
I imagine I imagine a lot of it's for privacy reasons or whatever reason. I
That's
certainly
right.
get that, but I just hadn't really thought about, you don't want the paparazzi getting a hold of those things in a cloud breach or something. So I can see where that would be. So
Yeah, so some people don't care. I don't care. I think you don't care. So
I would like more people to see my images, so I'll put them all.
yeah,
What the heck,
why
right?
not?
Exactly.
That's right.
So, is that the growing piece of the business, the cloud piece, or is it?
We just started it
Yeah, okay, that's
like
what
a
I'm asking.
month ago.
Yeah.
So it's yeah, it's growing but slowly.
Yeah. I think it'll be interesting to watch how that grows. 'Cause I think there is sort of this idea that people are going to want the cloud to do, more of different kinds of work. Again, there will be cases where people won't, where people want to keep images private. Can you use your product in a batch method? For example, can I, let's say I create a look that I like, right? Can I just apply it to an entire folder or an entire upload, or is it a one by one sort of thing?
So we have a plugin which is called Retouch4Me Color Match.
Okay.
And actually you can just use the reference and your image to get the same look, pretty the same look.
Okay.
So yes, for example, you can do batch processing in Photoshop. And the last week we just released our new retouching machine. We call it retouching machine. The name of it is Arams, in the honor of the first retouching machine. So using this software, you can start batch processing right on your computer using our plugins.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about the Arams thing, because that is new. And I actually just, as I was prepping for this, I saw, oh, that looks new. It actually does some of the culling and some of the things as well. It's going to go through, let's say, it's not atypical for a wedding photographer to shoot 2,000 or 3,000 pictures in a wedding, especially some of these big formal events. But they can actually, this will go through and do some of the culling as well, right?
Yeah, the culling is it's like a better feature.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, we're still learning training our neural networks to do culling, like accurate and so on. But you can use it for the batch processing using our plugins. Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Really, and that's a separate product as opposed. So
it's free.
Oh, it's free. It's a free product.
Yeah, it's free. Yes, it's free.
Well, how are you going to make money? all those computers cost money, man. How are you going to do that?
So the people buying the plugins and you use them. Yeah. So it's like the great compliment for our customers that already have the plugins, so they can download Arams for free and use it. Because a lot of people do not use Photoshop for editing, and they use, for example, Capture One. And in Capture One, you cannot you cannot do like batch processing like in Photoshop. In Photoshop, you can set the plugin, set some fine settings for each plugin and so on. So you cannot do this in Capture One. And if you have a lot of photographs, you have to run plugins as a standalone app. So load the photos to one plugin, then to another, and so on. Right. Sometimes, so if you need to use, for example, 5 plugins in a row, it takes a lot of time.
Right.
So for those people, we have Arams now, so you can just start batch processing and go to the bed and wake up with photographs.
Come home from the wedding, just load it into Arams and go to bed and come back, and there you are, right? Awesome.
Yeah, so actually for the wedding, most photographers retouches only like close-up shots.
Right.
But on weddings, there are a lot of guests, and there are all potential clients.
Right.
And it is better to retouch everyone.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, you're exactly right. I mean, that's one of the things is, sometimes when people go to a wedding, they may want a nice picture themselves, right? From that, right?
That's right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the guests can choose you like a wedding photographer for those. Mm-hmm. So there are a lot of couples which are not married,
right?
For example. So yes, it's a great opportunity for a photographer to retouch everyone and to deliver the best quality on the market. So it's competitive.
So you've added video to part of your offering. I mean, in some ways that's a natural extension, but it's also more of a technological challenge. A little more, I mean, it's more difficult, right? You got moving images, you got all kinds of things happening there. Tell us a little about that sort of evolution, because I mean, I've seen it here in North America, where specifically wedding shoots are really more multimedia productions now, right? You've got 2 or 3 cameras, you got drones, you got video, you've got all kinds of things, right?
Same here.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about kind of that evolution of that offering, because you could have just stayed with your piece and not addressed video probably and been fine.
Yeah, so for the video we have Heal plugin and Dodge and Burn plugin. So the Heal plugin removes some small imperfection on the face, and the Dodge and Burn plugin just smooth out the skin on the face. So it's like for the photo, but for the video, you have to retouch each frame in a row. So it's pretty slow. It's like 1 frame per second for now.
Right.
Maybe we can make it faster, or graphical cards developers will develop faster graphical cards.
Right. So, but your goal here is not to, because I think a lot of the video tools that are out there almost are like, they're almost unrealistic, right? In terms of some of the filters and things people are doing, but that's not what you're trying to do. You're actually trying to produce more of a what someone should or tends to look like, as opposed to, like an Instagram filter or something like that.
Yeah, that's right. Because, for example, if you shoot, it's not only for the video. For example, some guys with Fuji cameras, Fuji full frame, and middle format cameras with 100 megapixels. And when they try to use other software, and they get like smooth texture, fake texture on the face. And only our plugins, so they said only our plugins works with high resolution images. Yeah, it takes time, but it's really faster than do it by yourself. And as for the video, yes, if you shoot 4K, so it's pretty high resolution. On a big monitor, you see all our imperfections on the face.
Right.
Yeah, and sometimes it is better just to eliminate them. Because imperfections, so it's not like the person.
Right.
So they come and go.
Right.
And the person stays the same. So why we should look at this, and maybe we can just make it looks better.
Right. Well, I mean, certainly. I mean, you have people who have, let's say they have, maybe they're up late the night before, and they, their skin isn't the greatest or something. So certainly you want to present them in the way they want to be presented in something like a wedding or something like, or a fashion shoot, or some of the other things that you're.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So are you seeing any uptake in the video retouching tools in like the non-wedding market? I'm kind of curious what other places people might be using that sort of technology.
So for example, video for the social media, like TikTok, Instagram. So if you shoot like a close-up picture, so you need to use retouching And for example, for video blogging, also for music videos, like clips and something. Or for example, for if you shoot people naked or with, swimming suits. Because we have a clients that shoots a lot of, for example, something like bodybuilders.
Okay.
Guys, yes, some beach photography.
Right.
And if the person had like acne on the bodies somewhere, and some bodybuilders, so they get a lot of protein, and sometimes it is bad for the skin.
Right.
So you have to eliminate all these little marks on the body, so it will look really better after.
Interesting. I not thought about the bodybuilding market, but you're right. That would be something where someone is obviously looking for an ideal representation of themselves, and they're, they may not want, every little, like you said, imperfection on there, especially if they're doing, probably not for competitions, but for like highlight reels and for things like that. Competition, I think they do live. They don't do that on video. So I think that's a different thing. Yeah,
that's right.
So, because as everyone knows from looking at me, I've clearly competed bodybuilding, right? That's certainly something I'm doing.
You're the runner, right?
So we covered kind of the lookup table. We've covered the AI. We've covered video.
Yes.
What is sort of on the roadmap going forward? Because it sounds to me like you've got a pretty broad portfolio of offerings, and obviously there's enhancements and things. But whenever I talk to a software developer, I always like to ask them kind of like what's inspiring you to go forward when it looks like I wouldn't say you've got everything, but you've got a lot.
So we are working on the project, and maybe I hope we will release it this year. So every photographer dream of like a magic button on the camera.
Yeah.
So you just press the button and get the perfect shot.
Right. Yeah.
So we are working on this.
Oh, you're working on the perfect shot button.
Yes. So all you need to do is just click the button, and you will get the retouched image.
And then will it take into account all of the 10 or 11 things you already have? Or that's where I think artificial intelligence or AI or whatever you want to call it will come in kind of interesting, is when people are using it and may not even realize they're using it.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Photo retailers, energize your sales with ShareMe Chat, the proven texting platform. Using chat to text on your website keeps your customers connected and buying. See us at Pro and IPI to find out why dealers using ShareMe Chat close more sales without adding staff. Find out more at shareme.chat.
Yes. So for today, for example, for mobiles, there are a lot of AI built in.
Sure.
And for the mirrorless cameras, for example, I have a Sony somewhere, and it has AI for focusing.
Sure.
We just started this AI age.
Right.
AI will be built in every piece of equipment.
Right.
Maybe coffee machine or something.
Well, you raise an interesting point, because I don't think most people, especially in the consumer world, right, when they shoot with their iPhone or their Samsung or their whatever Android phone they may be using, they don't realize that there's a lot of processing that's going on in that camera. They're not getting an image straight out of the camera, right? I mean, that's being processed.
That's right.
Almost to the extreme, actually.
Yes. So actually, the scientists and developers almost squeezed everything out of technology of building lens to the camera, matrices, and so on. So now we need to process the picture, and the one who have the better software to process the image. So the one will be the top of the market today. So the software that processing the image will depend how your camera shoot.
Yeah, because really, I mean, the lenses and the sensors are kind of at their peak. I mean, I don't know. There's no point in having much more resolution on a consumer
Yeah,
phone.
so why do you need 100?
Yeah.
Okay, because some people need, okay. If you need to get the poster with the size of the skyscraper of
Right.
the really big building,
Yeah.
so yes, you need 100 megapixels. But why do you have like a 40 in your mobile phone? What for?
Yeah. Well, all those Instagram, you got to have a lot of data there to fix all the Instagram errors, right?
It's all about the marketing, because if the customers see two smartphones and one have, for example, 12 megapixels and the other one is like 20 or 30.
Yeah.
So the customer probably decided the smartphone with the highest resolution.
Yeah. But it may not have the best software, right? I mean, that's just the reality is it may not get better results.
Yeah, for example, in iPhones there are not so they had a lot of time like 12 megapixels only.
Yeah.
But the quality of the picture is really better than other phones, for example.
Yeah, with twice the resolution, right? Exactly.
Yeah, the resolution is smaller, but the picture is cleaner.
Well, a lot of your customers aren't shooting with iPhones. I mean, maybe some of them are for like a second camera for certain effects or things, but they're shooting primarily with, like you said, Fuji's and some other things, Canons, Nikonics, the usual suspects. Do you think they're keeping up with their own software to compete with iPhones in terms of making the pictures look good? I know, for example, Fujifilm's doing a lot with their film simulations and things like that. But that's sort of their sweet spot. We want to make
I had two Fujis, so yes.
So but it almost seems like they haven't really, the camera makers, in my opinion, haven't really taken that piece of it to the next level, the in-camera processing to the level that a smartphone has.
Yes, that's right. And I think so. For example, let's consider the LUTs. So it's color presets, and now some, for example, cameras from Sony, I think, for video blogging allows you to load the LUT, your own preset, color preset to the camera and shoot with your own style.
Right.
So yes, the software in cameras, I know, will grow.
I mean, it is interesting now that a lot of them are starting to be able to post directly to the cloud and, things like that. That's starting to happen, which I think is interesting.
Yes.
I've always thought that was sort of like one of the things that, the camera manufacturers, they said, okay, we got great sensors and we got great lenses, and we'll let the photographer do everything post-process in something else, right? They'll do it in Photoshop or Lightroom or Capture, One or whatever they're using. And I think there's a lot of people, especially younger content creators, who would like to do it more in the camera, right? Not even take it to a desktop. And I think that's maybe a big opportunity for them, or for someone like you who will take those images and enhance them.
Yeah. So for example, the great example is my wife, because when we are traveling, I have a like mirrorless camera and shoot. So then we come back and she waits the photographs like half a year, maybe more. Yeah, really. So it is better for her just to take the smartphone with a good camera and so take a picture and just upload it to the social media, for example. If you compare the speed of photo processing like 20 years ago or 10 years ago, so it's speeding up continuously. And no one's want to get yesterday photos.
Right.
People need them today.
Right. Same day.
And for example, same day. For example, if you are shooting like fashion or some events, so you need to provide the images like in time.
Right.
So it's like at the same time.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, you're right. I mean, it is that that window, but they're still expecting the same quality of images as if they'd spent time in Photoshop tweaking them.
Yeah, that's right. Because when you're trying to retouch photos manually and you want to get professional quality, you have to spend first of all money because you need to learn, and the good learning costs good money.
Right.
So yeah, you can go to the YouTube, find some lessons. There are a lot of lessons, and there are a lot of good lessons, but you have to spend a lot of time. If you
Right.
don't spend time, you spend money. Okay.
Right.
Then you need to master your skills.
Right.
You have to retouch a lot of images, like half or maybe a year to get really great results. Because if you don't know how to retouch correctly, you can just ruin the photo. And there are a lot of examples on the web.
Right.
Our main goal, I think, is to make the retouching procedure like as easier as it can be. If you see the photograph, like the process, the retouching is like routine.
Right.
So you have to do it, but
Right.
you cannot. No, so we ask some photographers. So, do you love retouching or not? So most of them do not love retouching.
Right.
They love to shoot.
Right. Exactly. That's why they got in the business, was to be behind the camera and taking pictures of subjects and things like that.
Yes.
The retouching and organizing and culling
Yes.
and all that stuff is not why they got in the business.
Yeah, so it's like routine.
Right.
Our goal is to take this routine and just deal with it.
Just deal with it. Well,
yeah.
So where can people go for more information, to learn more about you and your company? How can they reach you?
I'm not as social media person as I could be. So maybe just you can leave my email.
Okay.
Or something.
Yeah. And of course the website is retouch4.me.
Yeah.
That's the
yes.
That's the website
That's
for the company.
Right.
So make sure you check that out. Well, thank you so much, sir, for your time. Appreciate your insights. I'm looking forward to playing with your plugins and service, and take care, and hope to talk to you soon.
So thank you, Gary, for inviting me. And thank you others who's listening to this. I hope you enjoy this.
Thank you for listening to the Dead Pixel Society podcast. Read more great stories and sign up for the newsletter at www.thedeadpixelssociety.com.